going on, everyone? Welcome to the 5 O'Clock Sweats podcast. As always, I'm Chris, joined by
Ryan
and Derick. And eagle-eyed viewers will notice that we've got another person here. Eagle-eared listeners will hear a little bit more air than normal. Is that how that works? We've got a guest today. Why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Mike, aka LumberjackSamurai. I'm a YouTube streamer, content creator, and thanks so much for having me here. This is exciting.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. We're super thrilled to have our first guest. We felt like Mike was a good choice. Obviously, very chill, low-key guy, but I think he fits the topic very well. And speaking of topic, the topic for the episode is going to be centered around content creation. That takes many shapes, many forms. We're going to kind of discuss things and sort of pick Mike's brain to see kind of what his experiences have been. And maybe we can get a few tips from this guy. I don't know. What do you think, guys?
Yeah,
Let's
for
see.
sure. I'm here to learn. I got my notepad.
So I kind of wanted to start things off. We're very gaming heavy here. That's probably our primary avenue. So, Mike, can you tell us a little bit about what you've been playing both on and off stream? And is there anything in particular that you're looking forward to in the next weeks or months?
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of different things. I remember when I started, I was only playing FPS games, and now I just play everything. So I've been playing Palia, which is like a new MMO that just came out. I just played Dark and Darker right before this. American Truck Simulator. I mean, I'm all over the place. It's kind of crazy. But I have been playing Valorant. That is one thing that I kind of started getting back into again. And September actually has a lot of stuff. Payday 3 comes out.
Yes.
September 21st. That's going to be exciting. Starfield, I think, is the 6th of September.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to playing that.
Oh, yeah.
And even though I don't play Call of Duty that much anymore, I'll play the new one for sure.
Isn't
that how it always goes with Call of Duty?
Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah.
swallow your pride at that point.
I hate this
I have
game.
to.
I'm never supporting Activision again. August rolls around, teaser trailer for
Yep.
the next COD, and then you're like, maybe I'll get it. And then you definitely get it. So I actually wanted to ask you about that because it's definitely been a hot minute since at least you and I have gamed. I know for a
We
long
used to play Warzone all the time.
Yeah, so you were grinding
Yeah.
that for a while. What are your thoughts? Obviously, you're not too pleased with it now because I don't see you on it much. But what are you feeling about Warzone now, or maybe the direction that it's heading, the future? I don't know. What do you think?
I'm just not a fan. I don't know. I still think the next COD's probably going to be bad, but
Yeah.
I'm just going to play it. Honestly, because of the campaign, I know it sounds crazy. I've never been like a big campaign Call of Duty guy.
Me neither.
But when I played the last campaign, it's like my second or third most viewed stream.
Really?
Dang.
So people kept asking me for it. So I'm probably just going to play the new campaign, and then I'll play Warzone. I have to, but it's probably not going to be fun. I'm probably just going to start rage quitting or something, and then just play other stuff.
Yeah, I remember the last few times playing with you. It's like you're always like level-headed, but you were getting you were tilted
Yeah.
before we started, and I was like, I kind of see where this is going right off the bat.
Wanting to play Warzone is more fun for me than actually playing. Like throughout the day, you're like, I can't wait. Like, everyone's going to get together. We're going to have fun. We're going to get wins. And then you start playing and it's just not the same.
I agree.
It's just not the same.
I agree.
Yeah, I feel like
reminds me of
that's
my Apex
exactly how
days.
I feel about Warzone.
Yeah, it's well, actually, speaking of those games that you were sort of like referencing coming out soon, I kind of feel like that's the most fun part of gaming is like thinking about the hype of a game versus like actually playing the game, because most games these days I feel like they've overpromised and then highly underdelivered.
Overcharged.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Ryan's on the same boat as you. He's like super optimistic about Starfield. But I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I don't know if I'd say I'm super optimistic, but I'm still going to play it. I think it'll be fun, but who knows? Do you think it's going to last?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm basing all this off of the 45-minute showcase they showed at the Xbox Game Showcase, which just like completely blew me away with, first of all, the scale of the game, which, you knew it was going to be a big game. Bethesda only does like big RPGs. So, but what I was most, concerned about going in was like the gameplay. Like, what's the gameplay look like? How's it feel? And they showed a ton of gameplay in that 45-minute video. And I got to be honest, the gameplay looks silky smooth. It looks snappy and it looks fun, which I would not use any of those words to describe any of the other Bethesda games in regards to the combat. Fair. So, and it looks like it has pretty good movement too. Like there's like a jetpack you can use, like thrusters. Like I don't know. It looks like it's gonna be fun. So I'm hopeful. At least it'll like keep it coming back.
They don't have plans for co-op though, right?
As far as I know, no. Which seems like a huge missed opportunity. Like for a game that large, especially.
Wait, really? Yep. I did not know
2023, and they're doing single player. That's like it's gonna be fun to play and stream, but then after you finish it, I'm probably done. I'm probably just gonna put it away.
Yeah,
I wonder if they can add co-op down the road eventually, because that I didn't know that was confirmed, but that makes me sad. But I'm still hyped to play it by myself.
Oh yeah.
So, kind of speaking on some of you said you're like kind of playing everything nowadays. I wanted to ask you in terms of how you've been structuring your channel from when you started to now. What sort of guides you in terms of choosing what you play, or, you know, kind of what you're focused on? Because I know you were doing like Tarkov for a while, and then it seems like now it's been like a ton of variety. So sort of, can you talk about some of those decisions?
I started noticing, like as I was building my community and it's like growing to more people, I started noticing that like I always thought as a streamer you had to play something you're good at and that's it, like, and just keep going. And I think everyone's goal, maybe without them realizing it, is to play whatever you want, whenever you want, and people will watch. And I just started toying with that idea and kind of branching out. And especially when like a new game would come out, I tried to play it as soon as I could, and people kept watching. So now I just play whatever, especially if it's a new game, I target that. But I don't like do that every time, because I also just want to have fun. So there will be some games that I have fun that I know people are not going to watch or not enjoy, but I still do it anyway. Yeah. And a lot of times that people still show up, but that's kind of my mindset. I think variety is a really good thing in today's space for sure.
Yeah. That sounds like a lot of a shift from trying to play what other people want to play and more of, you know, exactly what you want to play, kind of like you were saying, right?
Yeah, because I mean, who wants to watch somebody be miserable? I mean, maybe some people want to watch that, but who wants to watch someone be miserable all the time, every day, grinding a game? Like they want to enjoy watching someone enjoy themselves playing something. So
yeah, that sounds like the entire Warzone category. People being miserable.
Pretty much.
Like all the pretty much every BR out there. Like I'm a big Apex fan. I haven't played a lot as of late, but I always thought it was funny, like, well, not funny, kind of sad that these big time streamers, you know, they're playing Apex like 8 to 10 hours a day, and like they go on social media and all they do is really complain about the game, but they're still grinding it. Like Apex for me, especially early on, was one of those games where like the gameplay kept me coming back. It was like a complete like dopamine fix, and just seeing these like content creators, like, basically they're hate playing the game at this point. Like they're just playing it because they get the views, and then God forbid they stream something else, and then the entire chat's like, where's Apex?
I think they're scared. I think they're a little just scared to switch it up. I think that's what it is.
There's been a couple that have gotten like into variety, and luckily their community's strong enough where they're there for the player, not for the game. So it's been nice seeing a lot of those other, like some of those other streamers get, you know, take care of their mental like that and get away from Apex and play other stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, does switching your games, do you find that like splits up your community a little bit? Like, do you have a different audience for different games or genres, or do you find it's like a pretty consistent like turnout for your streams regardless of game?
I think it's probably like 85-90% is consistent, but there are definitely names that pop up only if I play a certain game. Like especially Tarkov Wipe's coming up. I'm going to probably play Tarkov a little bit. There will be people that I remember from the beginning of last Wipe that only watched me when I was playing Tarkov, which is fine. That's what they're interested in, but that's definitely the case. I think YouTube does better with variety though, for sure.
That's interesting.
I think it does.
So do you like, well, when you started streaming on YouTube, it was fairly new, right? For the streaming platform, I think.
It did. I think it's been around for a bit, but not as many people were on it. That's for sure.
And
there definitely was not many people on it.
What was your kind of thought process for choosing YouTube over, at that time, obviously Twitch? And I don't think Kick wasn't around at that point, but obviously Kick is around now. There's a huge push about the split with revenue. So like, have you thought about switching, or what's got you like into YouTube? Can you kind of talk to us about that?
I don't plan on switching. I love streaming on YouTube, and I remember thinking people thought I was crazy when I was like, I'm not going to stream on Twitch, and they're like, that's what you're supposed to do. And I just thought the discoverability was better. And I don't know if it wasn't 100% there at that time, but I just felt like you have an algorithm that's pushing people to your content, whether it's a stream or a video. And now they're short, so now all your content's in the same spot.
Yeah.
And it kind of mixes different audiences that like different things, and it just, there's so many people that my stream just recommends to them.
Yeah.
And they recommend to people that actually have shared interests. So most of the time that people come over, they stay.
Derick, weren't we talking about that though?
Yep.
I'll kind of let you comment a little bit more, but we were talking about that in terms of our podcast. So yeah, go ahead. What was our conversation, Derick?
Yeah, so it was all about that, like, discoverability. Obviously, we don't do this podcast live, so we're not, streaming on Twitch or YouTube or anything like that. But I think the fact that, shorts are shown to so many people nowadays, like, even if it's just showing up in your shorts feed, like, on a shelf somewhere. But either way, like, whether it's a video, a short, or a stream, something like that, like, it'll drive all of the traffic to that one place. Like, people don't have to have an extra click to go to some other site on another platform. Yep. So I think that's a huge advantage of having stuff like we do on YouTube.
Yeah And I think like the downside of Twitch, Mike, you mentioned an algorithm right on YouTube. Like Twitch doesn't have an algorithm.
Yeah, you just need more people, so you get to the top of the list.
Exactly.
And then how are you going to get more people? By having people go there. It's like just an endless cycle.
Yeah, it's how do you need to build your viewership to get seen, to get put on the front page. But again, like, how do you build that viewership if you're buried in an endless scroll of. I remember like when I was streaming, I would try to end each stream with a raid, and I would look for somebody who had like, let's say 5 or so viewers. And in any like semi-popular category to get, other than filtering it, but to like organically scroll to those streams. You could be scrolling for like 10 minutes straight to get down to somebody that has 5 viewers. You know what I mean? I think that's something that's always going to plague Twitch until they can figure out how to actually help people grow, where YouTube already sort of had that stuff on the back end for, long form content. And I think it translated really well to the streaming. I would say as a viewer though, the only thing I still haven't quite gotten behind with YouTube is I just feel like the viewer UI, it feels a little bit. It's
terrible.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
It feels like I'm just in a YouTube video comment section, kind of, and that's the only thing. I don't know where to look for things.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty vocal about that. It's like the Stone Age of streaming from even from the streamer side. There's just no third-party integration. Their API is super old. Mm-hmm. Twitch is so easy to kind of hook things into, and you have to work so hard to get people excited about that community interaction in the chat. There's no channel points. Like, there's like nothing on YouTube, so it's hard to do that. I think they're going to add it though. There's stuff in the pipeline, so I'm sure they're going to start rolling those things out, but they kind of don't need to because they have so many people already on the platform. That's the problem.
Yeah. I meant to ask you too, when you look at somebody's YouTube page, specifically like for streaming, they're can you give me like the comparison of like on Twitch there's a follow, and then somebody can sub to you. Like what are the terms used in YouTube? Like, is a subscriber a follower? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, subscriber's a follower, and then a membership or a member is like your subscriber on Twitch.
Got it. Okay.
That's the paid version.
Yeah, no, I didn't quite understand some of those terminologies, and I was like,
Yep.
Okay. So that was kind of something I was curious to hear, is like, why you picked YouTube. I think we can all kind of engage in this next kind of question, but what have been some of your challenges managing, right, all this content creation with, I'm sure, a regular life? I know you work full time. I think you work remotely, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I do, for the most part.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about that? How that is?
It's definitely hard, and I've definitely been struggling with it lately because I have so many ideas I don't make a lot of long form videos. I mostly stream and make a lot of shorts, and I'll put out videos when I can, but I want to make more long form videos, and that just takes up more time. And trying to juggle like family and friends, and then gaming, and then working, and then also just having time for yourself is really like a challenge for me to figure out how to do it. So I'm trying to schedule things better, and luckily, like when I talk about it a lot, the people in my community are like, just make a schedule. If you take days off, take days off. But I'm kind of addicted to streaming, to be honest. It's fun to just interact with them, so I just stream like almost every day. It's just, I'm gonna have to figure out a balance, and I'm slowly trying to figure it out.
Yeah, man, it's tough. I mean, I don't even do as many things as you do in a day, and like I still find it tough to fit in the things that I want to do. Like I also work remotely for the most part, but like I shut the laptop when I shut the laptop, and I just don't know where the time goes after that, between then and my head hitting the pillow.
I think it kind of, in a way, there's like a pro for working at home, because like you save your commute time. It just gives you a little bit more time where I could like edit something before I would start work, when normally I'd be driving. But then the thing that I have a problem with too is like kind of disconnecting from that, because the same desk I do my work is the same desk I game at. Oh my God. So I feel like I'm just in the same spot all day, and I just can't like turn off my brain sometimes. I'm constantly thinking about different things. Next thing you know, it's like late at night and I'm still editing or streaming. I'm like, man, it's just wasted a day. I got to do more. I got to figure out more time.
Dude, we had that same conversation.
Yeah, we did a couple episodes ago. I used to have like an entirely separate desk for, my work laptop and all of that. And then, this, my fun desk, I used to call it.
Yeah.
But that was, I think, early days of the pandemic. And maybe like a year ago, I kind of combined the desks. And it has been a little bit difficult to kind of draw those lines in my mind of like, this is work and now it's not.
Yeah, and what people see is only one thing. There's so much stuff goes on behind the scenes, whether you're streaming or even you guys are doing a podcast. There's so much work you're doing outside of this, with editing and like figuring out what you're going to talk about and all these different things. Like that's just so much time, and people only see the podcast, but they don't think, man, there's a lot of work going on around that.
Yeah, all the stuff that goes on, when the red light isn't on.
Yep.
All the shenanigans. I feel so. I'm like hybrid remote. So I'm work from home Mondays and Fridays, and in the office Tuesday through Thursday. And I kind of struggle with the same thing, where on the days I'm working from home, it's like I'm at my desk all day. And then, I love gaming. So like I got that itch to play like after I'm done work, but I'm basically, again, closing my computer, turning on my Xbox, and I'm still in the same spot I was for the last 8 hours working. So and that was me, especially during the pandemic, because we couldn't do anything else. So that was my schedule: work 8 hours, game for however many hours after that into the wee hours of the night. So not a lot of moving around. But since the pandemic, I've made it more of a conscious effort to really, as soon as I'm clocking out, just to get away from the desk, whether it's like lay in bed for a little bit or go to the gym. I've taken up pickleball recently, which is a hell of a good time. Would highly recommend if you haven't played. Or going to the gym. So it's so important, especially if just for your mental health, just to get away. Oh yeah, get away from the desk and just whatever. Anything
picked
else.
Up a few hobbies, right? So you have pickleball, you had disc golf over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike? What do you have any like non-content creation hobbies? I noticed some instruments in the back. Yeah.
I'm in a band, yeah. So I do a lot of music stuff. We haven't really played like out too much. COVID kind of stopped a lot of that. We used to play a lot more. But now we're like we just write, and we're going to be working on like recording a bunch of things pretty much, since we're all so busy. I can't see myself playing as many shows as I used to.
Right.
But I have time to block off time and record a bunch of things. So that takes up a lot of time too. I like to golf. I'm terrible at it, but it is relaxing.
Yeah,
it is relaxing. It's one of the only things that I'm bad at that doesn't make me mad.
Oh, wow.
Like some games will get me mad if I'm bad. I'm like, oh, this is stupid. I'm thinking like, oh, I suck. But I'll play golf. I'll be terrible. And I enjoy it. It's just actually relaxing. It's like one of the only things I could think of where I'm so bad and it doesn't make me frustrated. I'm just like, fine.
You're the only person I've heard say that who plays golf.
Yeah, and people always get surprised. Like,
wow.
I just like to chill and try to get better, but for some reason, I don't know why, it doesn't get me annoyed.
Hey, that's awesome, man. More power to you. I'm jealous. I actually haven't played golf, but I would be the exact opposite. I'm hyper competitive.
I'm the opposite in disc golf when me and Ryan play.
Okay.
As soon as a shot goes, into a tree, nope. There goes my happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, right. Especially if it happens on hole one. Like hole one, you get a bogey. A bogey where you shouldn't have, and like the whole round's ruined.
The mental just goes off there. You're just like, oh no, like it's not a good way to start.
Stop keeping score. I'm I'm done. I'm just phoning the rest of this round in.
Yep.
Man,
I think it's important though to to separate content creation time and like hobbies and stuff, because Mike, you kind of made this point, right? Nobody like wants to watch like somebody who's pissed off and miserable streaming or whatever. And I think like that happens a lot, like just even in the same game. Like I just remember like playing Warzone for so long, it like really like your content suffers when you like, it's so obvious when you don't want to be playing the game, whether you can try to put on that face as best as you can. But it's the tension is palpable when you're playing something you don't, or like you're just burnt out. You know what I mean? Whether, like you said, the stuff in the back end, editing, just all the hours that go into it that people don't see, right? They think you just like press the power button and like go, right? And like that's just it. Yeah. And then like you turn it off and you're done, and then you just do it again. But obviously, like any good content creation has a plan behind it. So I just find, it's kind of like that balance. And I just don't see where like, you can take, because I sort of fell into like this pitfall where it's like you take things you like that are like outside of like content creation, and then you start incorporating it into like content creation. Mm-hmm. Like I know like Derick records a lot of like music related stuff, and I don't know if you've ever like incorporated that into your content creation, or just taking like your passion for gaming and then making that into content. Like it's almost like taking your hobby and making it a job.
Right.
Yeah. So have you kind of found that, like, where it's like the love you used to have for some of these things, you lose it a little bit because you started to try to make it content?
I haven't yet. I mean, maybe I will, but I haven't yet as far as streaming. But I never really thought. I kind of just did it for fun, and it was just another hobby. I kind of would just like rotate through different hobbies, and then I started making money off of it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, wait, like this is real? Like you can do this, Yeah. And then I've had a lot of things happen. Like I got lucky a couple times with different things and people I've met, and that kind of spiraled it bigger. And so another reason why I stream so much too is because I remember it's only been 2 years, but 2 years ago I had no one watching me. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then now I have so many more people. Like I'm not like huge, but like I'll average around in the 30s or something some days. So now it's exciting to catch up with these people. So I don't want to not stream. Like I just constantly want to stream. I want to stream during the day if I could, but I can't. Yeah. It's like just addicting, but it's hard to find the balance. It is hard to find the balance for sure. But
it's at the same time, it's rewarding, right? Like you said, like you started with zero, and like it is hard work. And I think they say like streaming is like one of the worst, like per hour, like kind of like jobs you can even try, because like initially you're going to spend like a crazy amount of hours for like virtually no money, but you can absolutely see the hard work and everything eventually does pay off with like some strokes of luck, and there's a lot of networking involved.
Yeah, a lot.
It's definitely like a social project, and I think that's probably one of the more addicting parts of it, right? It's like you meet people and everyone's kind of trying to help each other because there's all like this, there's like reciprocity, right? Like, you know, you and I stream together and we kind of feed off each other's community and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when I look at like view counts for streamers, I'm always just like in my head thinking like, imagine you see that 30 people consistently are watching your streams. Imagine 30 people in your room watching you play this game.
Yeah,
it's like behind your back.
It's crazy to think about. It's
that
crazy
just
to
blows
think
my
about.
mind. Like I've streamed a couple of times and I've gotten like maybe 5 or 6 viewers max. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like 6 people. Like this is a party. 30. I mean, that's awesome. But
that's 5
it's
parties.
Kind of crazy. You don't think about it because it's just a number on a screen. Like you don't really think about it. I think one thing people have mentioned to me, especially like when I first started having some streams that were bigger. Mm-hmm. I think the music things helped because we played some pretty big shows. So I've been in front of large crowds.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And this is a lot different because now I'm just sitting at home and there's just a number going up. Like I think that probably has helped. I've had streams where non-raids where I've hit like 1,700 for like some event.
Wow.
There was like 1,700 people in there, and I'm like, this is crazy. And people are like, how are you so calm? Like, you don't want to see someone freak out. You want to see someone stream. That's why you're here. Like, and they're like, I've never seen someone do that before. Like, this is what you average? I'm like, no, I average like 7.
Yeah, dude.
And they were confused, but I think the music helps for sure.
Dude, yeah, when I as I mentioned, I've gotten like 5 people watching me, like my hands start sweating and shaking. I'm like, I gotta perform. like stakes are so high. You mentioned the music. Like, what kind of venues were you playing at?
We played Warped Tour.
Wow.
Which I think is dead now, but we've done like just small tours along the East Coast. We opened for Panic at the Disco one time.
Sick.
And like opened for other bands like where they sold out. Like they weren't there for us, but we had opened for them. Mm-hmm. You know, like maybe 2,000 cap rooms full, like sold out. Like, so that's stressful. Like I'm not saying that was easy. Like that was stressful for sure, but I think it's different now that it's just a number. If I feel like I'm fine with it, I think that helped me.
Yeah, no, it's not. Streaming's nothing compared to that. Then that's crazy.
Yeah,
no wonder.
So how do you kind of balance playing a game, especially like a pretty intense game, and managing chat and everything like that, and still trying to be entertaining and not just get totally lost in talking to the people you're playing with?
I'm still trying to balance that. There's times where I forget I'm streaming. If I'm playing something like, especially when I play things that I've never played before, and since I have that like FPS background, I guess a lot of the community likes when I play like some survival base building game, because apparently I play it completely different than what they only watch people that play base building games. So like they just go and do what you're supposed to, and I'm doing something completely different, and they like that, so they are entertained. But now that there's more people, they kind of talk to themselves. So sometimes I'll miss out on a conversation, but I have a couple really good mods that are keeping track, so they'll kind of let me know if I miss something or something important. But sometimes I do kind of zone out. It's something I'm like, wait a second, I haven't read chat in like 5 minutes. And I just look over, oh, what did I miss?
Yeah, and have you ever been playing off stream and like you hit a clip or something, and you like, I don't know where your monitor is for chat, but like you look over to the where chat would be, but you're like, oh wait, I'm not streaming.
Yep, that happens a lot. I don't really play too many games off stream anymore. And when I do, I have OBS running in case I hit a clip and I can clip it. It's kind of sad to think that, but so that's even more because the camera's on and everything. And then I look over and I'm like, wait, or I'll mute my mic if I'm playing with friends, and I'll mute to talk, and I go, there's no one there. Like, what am I doing? Just muscle memory at this point.
That's so funny. I find though, kind of like you said, you're running OBS in the background even when you're playing off stream. Like that's like it's sort of like subconsciously you're always looking, you know what I mean, like for content, even when you're just casually playing. It's like that kind of fear of missing content. If you're not recording.
Yeah, it is kind of bad when you put it like that. Because I went to like Spain on vacation, and I was taking pictures, and I'm thinking like, how could I make this a short? Like I'm like thinking like that. Like, and I had people tell me like, oh, you can't post a short of like some castle in Spain when you're a gaming channel. No one's gonna like it. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm posting whatever I want.
Says
Like,
who?
there used to be a strategy, that used to be a thing, that it would just not work, but I don't think that's the case anymore. In any way.
I mean, I think if you want to be a good content creator, you do have to look at everything through that lens. But I just think it's kind of like an interesting conversation to have, in terms of like, at what point does it become, just like too much, where it's like everything you feel like, because, I even look at things like that sometimes, like even for the podcast, I'm like, we could do that as a clip, or like any conversation I have that's semi fun, I'm like, oh, that could be a whole episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird because, like Chris, you were saying, like, content creation a lot of the time has like a plan behind it. But what's so refreshing is that it sounds like Mike's just in it for the love of the game.
Yeah.
And like, it's great to see.
Yeah. Well, I think that's how you've become, you've had so much growth, and that's the only way you can stay consistent is if you actually enjoy doing it. Because this is like one of those things where you cannot fake it till you make it kind of thing. I guess I'm sure there are people that have, but, I mean, my gosh, you see how many people, even when you started streaming, I remember when I started streaming, there was like so many little content creators I was networking with that like over the months just vanished and disappeared. Yeah. And I'm sure you've seen the same thing.
It's hard. That's one of the reasons why, people have also thought it's bad for me to say this, but getting partner on YouTube is way more difficult than Twitch. Mm-hmm. Or a Twitch affiliate, I guess. Sure. And I think that should be the case, because I think the Twitch, to get affiliate seems relatively easy in a way. And I don't think you understand if you really want to do it in that time frame, where grinding for partner, I remember like that's like was the passion. Like I want to get partner, and then you realize how much work's involved, and you need to go through that adversity to figure out if it's even something you want to do. Yeah, and just kind of that'll phase out a lot of people that are just like, I just like gaming, but it's not for me. That's totally fine. Like that's a thing. I
think Twitch kind of like they make it quite easy to be able to monetize your stream. I don't know if I certainly agree and understand what you're saying. I don't know though. There's a balance in there somewhere. I agree. I think Twitch is a little too easy, right? Because affiliate, gosh, from what I remember, it's like you have to average like 3 viewers in a month and have like, I don't know if it's like 50 followers or something in 30 days. And like, there's always, my gosh, there's like millions of accounts to just cheese that. You know what I mean? You make like 2 other
follow stuff or whatever, and just have other accounts watching or something, view botting.
You open mom's iPad and you have somebody else's phone. So you can cheese your way to that. And I agree. It's like, it's almost like you get to the money too soon and then like you kind of die out, versus with YouTube, like it weeds out the people that aren't serious, because it is much more of an effort to get to be able to monetize the channel. At the same time though, it's like, I don't know if it's a bad thing though for people to be able to make, you're making content, whether it's good content, whether you're brand new or not, like, you're putting in hours and time. So to be able to make some kind of money, I don't necessarily think is a bad thing. But I see what you're saying. That's a kind of an interesting take there. I didn't really think of that.
They do have a new tier now for YouTube, so it's only 500 subscribers, and I think it's 3,000 watch hours. They don't do it by average view count or anything like that. It's all just watch hours.
Okay. Yeah. See, that's so watch hours is just like that counts even like if they watch like
a live stream. Or shorts don't count, but long form video and also just live stream.
Yeah.
There's a different metric for shorts. I think it's like for gaming content, I think it's a little ridiculous, but it's like 30 million views in 6 months or something, or 15 million. It's a lot. Like if you're making, like double it and give it to the next person, like if you're making that kind of content, of course you're going to hit that. But if you're making gaming clips, no one wants to see you ace in Valorant and they're going to give you 30 million views. It's just not going to happen anymore.
Yeah. Well,
you have to do it like on your head, spinning around or something.
I'll tell you what, it like seeing those metrics, like those requirements, it makes people kind of realize like, you can't just chase the money right away. But have you sort of found that like there's like content creation pitfalls? Have you kind of fallen into any of them, or like have you kind of seen some of them? Like for example, like the follow for follow, like that's a pitfall.
Yeah, it's terrible. I know a lot of people do that on YouTube too. It's just terrible. It's just a terrible thing. I can't believe people still do that and not see how it's hurting you. I mean, it's just a number. Like, it's not helping you if no one's watching you. What does that get you?
Absolutely. Right. And then there's entire like channels and accounts like dedicated to this kind of like follow for follow mentality, where it's like it's this one person who's literally, they're the ones gaining all the views and all the numbers by pushing this like community, right? We all support each other, and everyone within that doesn't realize that you're like basically bumping this one person so far up. People make partner on Twitch by doing stuff like that. It's like, that's insane. Yeah. Like, the whole chat is just people like, hey, so-and-so followed you. Hey, so-and-so followed you. And it's like, they have like 250 viewers, but none of them are actually watching the stream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. The chat's just empty.
Yeah.
And no one's saying anything. Yeah. It's kind of obvious.
Yeah, I just, I don't know. Have you seen any other pitfalls, though?
I think one thing I'm guilty of is, like, I want to make long form content and I don't, because I keep getting in my head. And I see a lot of the people I'm friends with do the same thing, where they're like, I want to make something perfect, or I want to, feel like gaming's too saturated is what I hear a lot. Like, it's too saturated. You're going to put that out. No one's going to watch it. And I think what's changing in the landscape is people watch because of you, and there's no people that are the same. Like, we could all make the same video with the same script, and they're all going to be different because we're all unique people.
Yeah.
So I just need to just get over that and just make something. And if it's probably not going to do well, and then I'm just going to keep improving. I just need to do it. And I see a lot of people in the same boat that they just don't start. I think starting is better than just sitting there and constantly sitting in your head.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You had somebody in your chat today ask about that. They're like, well, I want to make videos, but like, how do you make your thumbnail? And you're like,
oh yeah,
just do it. Just do something.
Just
put something in there.
Yeah, just put something in there. That is, a lot of people have problems with that with YouTube, because if I switch games, you gotta just do a whole bunch of stuff. Your mods don't have control over that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no moderation tools hardly for YouTube. It's a mess. So it is a lot more daunting when you've only streamed on Twitch and you just have to, it automatically detects your game and all these different things. YouTube doesn't do any of that.
So why do you think that, like, gaming, for example, is so saturated? Like, there's a part of me that thinks like the accessibility to streaming or content creation in the last 5 years has changed drastically. Like, do you kind of agree with that? Like, for instance, my gosh, the equipment wise, right? It's like so much easier now than ever. You can stream from a single PC, whereas before it was like, you needed a dual PC setup, so what do you kind of think about that?
I don't think it's too saturated. It is what people say, though. I don't think it's oversaturated. I think it's oversaturated with bad content.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think just fair. Too many people are just putting stuff out and not realizing you just have to work hard at it. I mean, it's the brute truth, but it's just brutal honesty. But I mean, that's what it is. I think there's just so much stuff. But when you look at it, there's not a lot of like high tier good content people want to watch. There's just enough. And if you could fit in there if you made something like that.
Okay.
That's what I think. I don't think it's oversaturated, but there is a lot of it. But it's just, I think there's room. It's like you said, you could get a microphone, you could have a whole setup, and it's so much cheaper than what it used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, everything's just, and they keep making more stuff, and it keeps getting cheaper and more affordable for people. I think it's probably one of the easiest times to probably have something potentially go viral is now.
Yeah, you used to need obviously like a nice PC, but you needed like equipment to record. You needed like your cameras, mics, all that stuff. But it's like, my gosh, like you basically like all graphics cards now have like video encoders, right? So you don't need, separate equipment for that. Like, you're right. Like, you can get USB mics that are, listen, not that bad for fairly cheap. And you look at the programs, OBS, Streamlabs, whatever you use.
It's free. Yeah.
It's free. And if you're willing to like tinker a bit, it's not that hard to use those programs. So
yeah,
like anybody, I mean, Ryan, like I know when you were streaming right from the Xbox, like that's even like
I was gonna
pretty
say,
feasible.
It's so accessible, and it costs $0 if you really just want to like use your headset, and you could use like a webcam or something. If you don't want to put any money to it whatsoever, and then it's insanely accessible, like even for basic console boys like me.
And YouTube has 50K bitrate. You can make an account tomorrow and stream 1440 at 50K, and they don't charge you for it. I mean,
yeah, well,
you can get really good quality streams on YouTube.
So that's that right there. That's a knock against Twitch, though. Is in order to get like the max bitrate available, and in order to your stream to be able to like a viewer to select a different resolution, right? Like you go to a lot of these big streamers and you could do like 1080, you could 900, 720p, whatever. You have to be like partnered in order to get a lot of those options.
That's crazy.
I don't know. I mean, obviously there's back end stuff and reasons for that. It's probably server intensive, but I don't know. There's a lot of things that YouTube does right. I just like if they were to improve the UI, there'd
be no competition in my opinion.
Agree.
That's it. That's all they're missing.
Fully agree, and like I just think they have to be working on it somewhere. They're I don't know. There's just no way they're not. I don't know.
They are. I think the thing is though is it's such a big company. And you know how that works. There's so many people you got to go through, and their main priority is YouTube. Yeah. I mean, and YouTube's fine. You could just watch whatever video you want whenever, and streaming is just a portion of that. So I think they always, everything they do, every time they make a change, they're always thinking about the whole platform. Yeah. They're not thinking about a streamer.
Right.
And they think about privacy and all these things, and it's annoying because it like when they did. To get gifted memberships on YouTube, right? You have to opt in to receive gifted memberships. You have to opt in, right?
Oh.
And not only that, you had to do it for each stream individually.
Wait,
and
what?
You had to actually select it. Now it's everywhere. You could just do it once, but by default, it's turned off.
So who's gonna say no to free money?
It's.
Oh, you know what? Yes, you have my permission.
That's just what they do. It's defaulted to off, and that's just so frustrating when you're trying. Someone gifts memberships and they don't go out because they don't do it like Twitch. Where Twitch, I've gotten gifted memberships to channels I've never even seen before.
Yeah.
And I see that. I don't check it out. Most of the time, I don't really go on Twitch that much anymore. But that's not an incentive really. I don't know. There's something about it. I just go, oh, look, I got something. And I just keep going about business while I was there.
Yeah.
YouTube will pick people that they think will re-up their membership. Like they target people in the algorithm with like, hey, this person has had this amount of chat lines in the past amount of time. We're going to give it to them.
Wow.
And your conversion rate can be way higher with YouTube because they see the emotes, they see I have certain commands they could use in my chat, and they like it and they want to support you. And YouTube lets you pick different tiers. Down to $1, so you can choose all these different things.
So I shouldn't have just been lurking in your chat this whole time. I should have said something.
I think Twitch is still, unfortunately, like ruled by like a handful of like very heavy hitters in terms of like streamers, and I think that's probably where I think YouTube is going to succeed. Is new content creators probably have a better chance at being seen, but also succeeding. You don't need, you were talking about, people saying gaming saturated, you're not going to get people, but listen, you don't need all of the people, right? You're just trying to get what you can get, and 10 people in your stream's great, 15, 20, whatever, it doesn't have to
start somewhere and work your way up. And there's raids on YouTube. Raids have been huge for me, and like they help a lot of people. So they have raids.
I think raids are like, to me, that was like the number one networking tool, right? You raid somebody. I mean, how can they not be appreciative? Now at some point it does get a little bit kind of watered down. It's like, you rated me. But if it's like a stranger rating you, like you wonder, like, how the hell did you find me? Like that's pretty cool.
The same way you did. The same way you were looking for people for your stream, Chris.
Scrolling for 10 minutes.
Exactly. Scrolling, or it's like, or, on Twitch, they weren't recommended to you because that doesn't exist. So they probably just found you. So I think that's pretty interesting. I know we wanted to talk real quick about Derick's like our main editor.
Hey.
And I was kind of curious to hear what your editing process has been like. Because when I'm on your Discord, your thing says forever editing. So I wanted to bring that up.
Well, I don't do as much long form. The long form isn't as complicated because most of the videos I enjoy doing. I know they're not going to get a lot of views, but is kind of just like first look stuff at things, especially if it's a game like that hasn't been released to the public yet. If I get access ahead of time, I kind of like playing those and just making just like clips of like going through the menus and different things like that. Most of the time I'm editing shorts.
Yeah.
And that has gotten a lot easier because now there's a vertical plugin that has a canvas of your, like everything set up. So you just hit a button on your Stream Deck and it's already in the TikTok format. So you just have to clip the ends and put whatever else you want in it. But I usually use YouTube Shorts as advertising for the stream, because when you post a short, it makes a live ring on your profile and it shows that you're live.
Oh, that's cool.
Short algorithms very random in a way where you can get no views for a month and then all of a sudden 10,000, or you can usually within the first 15 to 30 minutes you'll get at least 1,000 or 2,000. Like that's pretty average for anybody just posting it. And that's potential for 2,000 people to see you live and click on it.
Yeah.
So I'll always post it like 15 minutes after, 15 minutes into when I start my stream. And then you'll see people come in from the short.
That's incredibly
Yeah,
smart.
really
Especially if it's a game that you're going to play. Like if you're going to play Warzone, you put a Warzone short in.
Yeah.
And that just drives more people in.
So they kind of like tap right in through the short.
They
They're
just
like right
click
in the
it and it
short.
brings you right there. And now you could even stream in the shorts feed on YouTube. You could vertically stream.
yeah.
It's not rolled out to people yet, but you could actually, and you could dual stream, which haven't heard a lot of people doing, but I'm going to stream in normal format and then I'm going to have another stream key for vertical. So now I have, and those people that watch shorts aren't necessarily the same people that watch live streams or long form. So now you have exposed yourself to a larger audience of different people that like different things, and the whole job's like converting. Like you want to convert people to join your community. Yeah. So that's like the whole part of it. So that just gets me excited. Like, man, now I can get people that watch shorts and I could try to convince them, hey, live streams are fun. Like, come here.
Yeah.
But that's so then like if you're doing that, you're literally like in two separate like feeds almost, right? Like in the long form feed, but also like in the short feed.
Yep.
That's huge. Damn, I didn't realize that.
That's incredible.
YouTube doesn't tell people a lot of these things. They have like a blog post and it's like buried. It's like very hard. You have to follow like 40 Twitter accounts to get one information. It's just crazy to me how that works, but it's probably just a large company and
with crazy documentation.
See it. But that's why I try to tell as many people as I can. Like, as I like talking about it and I get excited about trying to learn different ways to do things. So I just tell everybody I know.
Damn.
Yeah, that is really cool.
The potential is insane.
Again, it's everything's driving to the same channel. Right, because it's your channel in the shorts, your channel live. Like it's not two separate platforms. It's Lumberjack Samurai.
Yeah, and it's the shorts feed, but that's still watch time because it's a live stream. So now you can get your watch hours for your partner, even though it's in the shorts feed, because shorts don't count towards your watch hours. Okay. So it's just another way to do it.
And that's like really that is so efficient too, because I know Derick and Ryan, we've talked about this many times where. Like, I'm so fascinated by the concept of, like, taking one form of content and then basically chopping it up and making it into, like, so many other forms of content. So, like, in that case, right, you just posted, let's say, like, a Warzone short. But that short could be from a stream last week, right? So you took that stream and you made a short out of it. So now you have a short, right? And then that short is drawing you back to your current live stream, right? So it's like... I don't know. It's like that's so efficient. You're just making the most use out of all the content you create, right? You take a VOD, you make it in the shorts. The shorts then become promo for your live. It's
all on one spot.
Exactly.
Too. It's the same platform.
It's so amazing to me, and I just I don't know. It's like there's endless possibilities, and it's cool. It's cool to like make one thing and realize you can like repurpose it in so many different ways. And it's all going to benefit your channel. And, to your point, like that mental block, it's like, you're right. Like if you have the idea, just do it. What's the worst that happens? It gets 10 views. Like, okay, big deal.
We say that about our shorts.
I'll get comments on shorts from like months ago.
Yeah.
And then I'll see, the numbers went up. I didn't even realize I had like 100 views and now it's at like 5,000 or something. Like, when did this even happen? I didn't even realize it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think the algorithm just like repurposes old clips sometimes. And, it just takes a couple of views and they gets rolling. But we've talked about this with our shorts as well. Like, if we think a short's funny, if we think the content's good, and goes back to what Mike was saying earlier, trust your content. Don't worry about how many eyes it'll attract. Like if you're confident in your content, you think it's good, just fucking do it. Post it. Post that short. I know we've had a couple of shorts that have outperformed others and some that have, been kind of duds, but we liked the clips and,
And then we have this one right here.
Yeah, this
I don't know. Maybe I'll go back. Maybe I won't.
Yeah. But short form content is king now. Like it's crazy how, TikTok, I guess, started it, but YouTube Shorts, even like Instagram Reels. Yeah.
Yep.
When
I was
gonna add, like, when did you start to see the potential in the short form content? Like, how long ago was that?
I used to probably like a year and a half ago. It wasn't too many months into when I started streaming, and I would post on TikTok and I'd post the same thing everywhere, and I just kept doing it. And then I was like, I want to do once a week, and occasionally I wouldn't. And then I kind of stopped posting to TikTok, to be honest. I don't know. I probably should post more, I keep saying. But my goal for this year was I'm going to post a short every day.
Yeah.
So that's what I've done. I posted a short every single day. And then some days I'll do 2 or 3 if I think they're good. Or usually you can tell if I post a short like in the middle of the day or at certain specific times. It's usually because I like it. And it's not like an advertisement thing. Like, here's just something live. Yeah. That's kind of how I do it. But there's really no perfect time to post it, I don't think.
We've been struggling with, like, figuring out what time of day to post our shorts. Like, I know we've experimented with first thing in the morning, mid-morning, late afternoon, evening, and there's really no rhyme or reason to the numbers. Nothing is really, there's been no there's been no right answer yet.
There's been things I've done with like NFL games, like Super Bowl or playoff games. I'll post shorts during halftime, like 15 minutes before halftime, because most people probably pull their phone out. Maybe.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I've tried that. I mean, I'm sure it would work for someone with a lot more of a reach. Like, I've tried all different weird things like that, but everyone's always told me, oh, you go to YouTube Analytics and it shows you when your subscribers are online. And that's when you want to post it, because that's when they're there. I'm like, well, I don't want, like, my subscribers are going to see it anyway.
Yeah, you want new people.
I don't want them to watch it. I want new people.
So
it doesn't really matter. The only thing that can help is you can front load your views and likes, which just help push it more.
Yeah.
So sometimes that is a good idea. If all your subscribers are on a certain time, you post it, gets circulated, you get 30, 40 people that like it automatically, and that's just going to kind of
push it more.
Yeah. But still, I don't know. I think just get it out and just keep going.
I think it's also like important not only to look at the time, but like to connect the time that you're posting with also like your target demographic, right? So like, I'm assuming for you, it's probably anywhere from like maybe like 15 to like 40, or you know what I mean? Like gaming, and especially being like variety, like there's such a huge demographic there. It's very wide. Kind of same thing with the podcast. I mean, right? We know the kind of subject matter we're talking about, so kind of helps lead us towards, what is our target audience. But it's like you find one, like you do one thing right, like with a short, and it's like it pops off, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna replicate that like 5 times now, and like it never does the same thing.
It never. I have like 10 things I do anyway, though, just because I'm like superstitious. Because like the other thing I noticed, like you never see like a huge creator post. They always post at at 6 p.m., 7 p.m. It's always an even number. So you figure the majority of people are seeing things at those times. So I always post like a 15, 30, or 45. It's always something different.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking maybe there's less stuff at that time that is getting scheduled.
Right.
But I don't even know if that works, but I just do it anyway. It's just something I always do.
Write that down, Chris. Write that down.
It's funny though. Like and then at some point you start to overthink it, and you're like, just post the damn clip. You know what I mean?
So,
just post the damn clip.
I do have
about where we're at.
I have a legitimate question though. Like, how the average length of your shorts? Like, what are you looking at? Like 15, 30 seconds?
It kind of varies. I've posted shorts that are like 4 seconds long.
Okay.
To be honest, 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I've posted ones that are 55. It's just kind of all over, just whatever is good. I just don't want any dead space.
Yeah.
So I don't care if I'll post a short for 5-6 seconds.
Yeah.
And I don't care as long as it's all entertainment. I don't want anything where I'm just like running around doing something else that's not funny. It needs to all be like, because they're only there for that small amount of time.
True.
And the one factor is like the average percentage of people that viewed your short instead of swiped. That is one of the biggest things to look at, and they tell you that now. So now it's like, okay, well, how come only 30% of the people watched it? What do I got to do different? Do I got to put something in the beginning? I tried doing intros in the beginning, but everyone don't really like that, so I stopped doing it. It took a lot of time too, so I was like, never mind.
I experienced that too. Yeah. So like, well, you were talking about TikTok. There's two things I noticed with TikTok. And again, kind of one of the reasons why I sort of like kind of took a step back from it is it's the opposite of what we've been talking about with YouTube Shorts, where everything's one click away from your channel. Like now you're talking about TikTok, where they have to like your TikTok, right? And be like, okay, let me go look up so-and-so, whether that's clicking on your profile or actually like searching you up.
It's a lot of work, to convert them to YouTube or something.
Especially like it's short form content. So when I watch short form content, what is my thumb doing? This, right?
Yeah.
So you're on the screen for like 5 seconds at most, unless you're like super captivating. But yeah, the intros I found are, unless of course you're already have some kind of following,
famous, then it makes sense to have your face there because they're going to stop and see you.
Right.
Yeah. That's the thing. Until they know you, I don't know if it matters.
It's a waste of time, because guess what? Every other small content creator is doing. They're like, "What's up, guys? Welcome into another video. Check out my whatever, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Make sure to smash that yada yada yada. You know what I mean? So it's like it's all that, and so like I found like those were just there was literally adding dead space. You know what I mean? Or there was like 10 seconds. You're right. Like you're separately recording intros, and it, like you're doing a bunch of takes because you hate how you look on camera or whatever. You know what I mean?
We talked
like,
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think our podcast has a little bit of a different use case, because most of it is just us talking. It's like all storytelling and context based. So it's hard to like get succinct clips out of like a 3-minute long story Ryan told about like,
watching the cup scene
not
from Pitch
peeing
Perfect
at the theater.
or that or that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's hard because like there's so much content out there that's really good, and the only thing it needs is just more eyes on it. That's it. Like that's all it is. Like you're already set up. Because like I think a lot of your stuff's super relatable. Because I don't know if it was the last episode, one of them when you're talking about like your vision. I was watching that because I've had bad eyes forever, so I was laughing because like I've been wearing glasses since I'm like 4. Like I've always had trouble like seeing things, and I was watching you guys talk about how like, oh, now I wear glasses for this, and like I would wear contacts and my eyes would dry out. And I'd be like, oh man, I can't do this anymore. I just gotta wear my glasses. I was laughing with that one. It's like all of it's super relatable.
There was a time when I could sit on a couch 10 feet away from a TV without glasses and like game very well, and now like my monitor's touching my nose. I got my glasses on, can't wear the contacts because they dry out, right? Gotta have the fan on, using the bathroom every 5 minutes.
It's a lot different.
It's getting old, man. Getting old. But yeah, go ahead, Ryan. I think
I was just gonna make a point. I was watching some of your videos earlier today, and it's funny that you talk about your eyesight, because it looks like you get right up to that monitor. Like
it's not that close. I'm not too bad. It's actually kind of far. Just the way my camera angle from the side, it looks like I'm pressed up against it, but it's still, I go back and play on a TV on like a PlayStation, and I'm like, how the hell did I used to do this? Like, this is so far away. Like I could not play Call of Duty on my TV anymore. Like I'm just used to having it here. It's so different. It's so different.
I will say this though. I just have like a fond memory of like us playing Warzone during like the height of the pandemic. I gotta ask
for dance.
Yeah, do you ever like look back? I'm not just saying like gaming with me or whatever, but like, do you look back on those days at times? Like, you know what I mean? Like that was probably right before you started streaming seriously. And like, my God, I just miss making clips like, like sniping headshots, just like crazy, just like movement, slide canceling. Like that is just like such a fond memory for me, and like that was what got me into content creation. And there's times I wish I could go like all the way back to the beginning, just to feel those excitements.
I think that too, but then I wonder like how much is just that nostalgia factor we're thinking about. Like we did complain about Verdansk when it was around. I mean, everyone was complaining about it. I wonder if we played it again after a week of nostalgia, we'd probably be like, this map sucks. Like, we'd probably go back to being like, this is terrible, I hate this game. And then I don't know. I do think about that. That was so many fun fun nights playing Call of Duty and Warzone
Yeah.
back in that time frame.
And I think too, like if you go back to like the very beginning of like, even streaming, like one viewer, like the smallest things felt like such a big win, right? Like having 2 viewers, like your heart's racing. You know what I mean? Like you get off that stream and you're like giddy as hell, right? You're like, I made it. Like this is what I've been trying to do.
I'm living
like,
the dream.
Yeah, it is. It's cool. And then, I do. I remember kind of like a year and a half into streaming. Like that's actually kind of why I faded out a little bit. Is gaming. Like there's not much that like I want to like really grind and play. So that's why I'm kind of praying that Warzone makes a comeback, because I would. Every day I wake up, I'm like, man, I would love to stream Warzone, except I don't want to play Warzone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why variety, I think, is fun, because you kind of get that little bit of a rush by learning something new and playing something exciting for 2 or 3 days, and then you just uninstall it, move on to the next thing, and just keep going. And if it's fun, maybe you go back, maybe people keep going, like, when are you going to play that again? You just say you're going to play it, and you wait for another update, so that way more people want to watch it. That's what I do.
Yeah, and you were getting like a ton of, you told me about this, and I was like, damn, that's like pretty ballsy, but like it makes a lot of sense. But I think you were reaching out to like a lot of devs for like these really small niche games.
Just email them. Just email them.
awesome.
Yeah.
And now they have like Lurk It and Keymailer and all those things, and like they just give them you'll give you the key for free.
Yeah, I think
so
that's
sick.
cool. I mean,
Yeah.
especially if it's like a super niche thing, like, you could be one of the like, few people on YouTube even streaming that game at all.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That
pretty
happens
cool.
a lot.
Very nice.
Okay, and now it's time for our new recurring segment, Off the Clock. So again, as a reminder, this is what we're excited about doing this week after work, after 5 o'clock hits, right? Laptop shuts. And since we've got a guest, it would only be polite of us. Mike, would you like to go first?
Well, I think normally I'd probably say I can't wait to stream, but this week I actually have a couple days I'm not streaming. After Friday, I'm not going to busy up until then. But then after 5 o'clock on Friday, I'm going to be hanging out with family over the weekend and just completely relaxing and unplugged. So I'm excited just to take a breather.
Oh yeah.
Sounds like
Nice.
bliss. Amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, mine's pretty similar, actually. I'm actually off tomorrow. My parents are coming up here visiting, which I haven't done in a while. So
Nice.
gonna get a little bit of family time in. That's about it. How about you guys?
Tell them I said hi.
I will.
Yeah, so I am probably gonna try to hop back on some Apex. They just released their new season. I think season 18, if I'm correct, which is
18, yep.
insane. It's insane to think that. But some of the changes they made, especially, they basically completely revamped Revenant, like made him a completely different character. He looks like a ton of fun to play. So it's been a hot minute since I've hopped on some Apex. So I think I might give that a try. Maybe tomorrow, some point this week. I'm off this.
Put me in, coach.
Yeah, you want to play? You want to hop on?
Sure.
Come on, yeah.
If I have it installed, yeah.
Anyway, y'all are invited. But yeah, I've got nothing going on this weekend, so I'll probably be playing some of that. So what about you, Chris?
I think for me, there's 2 things. One, I'm still in search of the right pickleball paddle. I'm trying to buy my first pickleball paddle. So I've gotten like really tied up here trying to watch YouTube videos and go on Reddit and find like what's the right paddle to buy at like, the beginning point that's not too shitty, but like obviously not like way better than I need. So I'm kind of stuck to doing the research on that, but I'm looking forward to hopefully figuring out what I want to get. And then TV wise, I think I want to start watching Hard Knocks. Which I don't know if you guys know. It's the the HBO documentary. Every football preseason, HBO does like an all access kind of like documentary. And I've watched it the last like 10 years. This year I believe it's the Jets. So I think that's going to be pretty interesting. Episode premiered I think last night. It was, I think it's like 10 to 11, but because I'm old, I was like, actually we were prepping for the podcast, but I was also like falling asleep in my computer chair, so I didn't get to watch it. So that's kind of what I'm on, after work this week. And then, as always, looking forward to, whatever our next episode will be. Always got that on the brain.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Well, we've talked a lot about content creation. Maybe it's time to talk about some content consumption. So thank you for listening to or watching this episode of 5 O'Clock Sweats. We are on Instagram and X / the social media platform formerly known as Twitter. We're at 5 O'Clock Sweats there. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and probably wherever you get your podcasts. Mike, anything you want to plug?
I'm on all the social media platforms, just LumberjackSamurai. I don't really plug too many things because I'm super critical and I don't want to push something that I don't like. The only thing that I have is I'm partnered with Coffee Brand Coffee Co. And if you use code Lumberyard, you get a percentage off your order. And I drink that coffee all the time. It's friggin' delicious. So that's the only thing. If you want coffee, try it.
I love my coffee.
That's about it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good.
What's your typical stream schedule again? I know I tune in quite frequently, but
it's pretty much daily. Like usually 6 to 8. Start at 6 to 8 Eastern. Go for a few hours from there. It's usually what it is.
Gotcha. All right. Very nice. Well, I just want to say, I know everyone agrees here, but we really appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to come hang with us. I'm certainly happy with the conversation tonight, and I'm not even going to ask the other guys, but I'm going to invite you back for another episode.
Anytime.
Thank you so much for inviting me. This is great.
Yeah,
I love talking about this stuff.
Appreciate
You guys are
it.
awesome.
I'll stop the recording, unless you have something else.
Wait, I want to do our sign off. We should do our sign off with Mike.
Oh, okay. Did you want to lead it this time?
Ryan, you're going to give Ryan the reins?
You're going to give me
here?
the controls?
I don't know. It feels right.
All right,
Yeah, explain.
All right, so Mike, at the end of each episode, I'm not sure if you've seen the ends of our episodes, but we try to sync up pointing at the camera, and we all say, "Stay sweaty."
Okay.
At the same, we try the best we can to get it simultaneously.
And it never works.
It never. Well,
So don't
it's
feel
gotten
any
better.
pressure.
It's gotten better. So basically,
Like,
what I'm going to
do
do.
you have a sign off? Because I hear yeah.
Yeah, it's like I point at the camera, that's about it, or I'll just scream, I just yell. Nothing too crazy. Yeah.
Let's combine them both. Let's hit the stay sweaty.
Oh, yeah.
Stay sweaty.
Yell at the camera.
No, we can do stay sweaty. I think we can time it up. You guys count it down?
Yeah. So
Well, that's the joke. Is like sometimes somebody will go on 3, and most of us will go after 3, like a normal person, like 1, 2, 3, stay sweaty. But Ryan screwed us up a while back where he was like 1, 2, stay sweaty.
I also do
And
the
also, because of the internet, it's never going to be synced up. So
Yeah.
True, and I also like I like the 3, 2 1 countdown because it gives me
3, 2, 1,
New
stay
Year's
sweaty.
Eve
Yeah.
vibes, or like
okay.
or like
like it.
Oppenheimer vibes. All right,
All right,
so
so Ryan, you can count us down, and then we just point and say stay sweaty.
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna do the 3, 2, 1. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Stay
Stay
sweaty.
Stay
Sweaty.
sweaty.